Global Morning here on
Welcome to the AM News.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
The National Assembly is something that must be gotten right.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with us to strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Thank you everyone for staying with us here on Global Television. I'm Muyi Agbumafuegbe, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, and this is Global Morning, continuing here as part of our broadcasts. It's interesting how the removal of fuel subsidy, payments of fuel subsidy has continued to be evolving. I mean, all of the ways in which it has disrupted, that singular action has disrupted Nigeria in such a way that nobody had imagined by evening of 28th of May. All right, but today we know better because we've seen all of the repercussions for the country. The president, even though he has again and again assured Nigerians, he has, as a matter of fact, reassured Nigerians multiple times that, look, while it may bite now, it is a case of pay now, play later for the country. Whether Nigerians are getting that message in practical terms or not remains to be seen, because they also have to deal with the reality of having to pay more for fuel. Apparently, they have to pay more for transportation. They have to pay more for food items. They have to pay more for health. Of course, schools are going to resume by first week of September, generally speaking. It also means more in terms of what they pay to fund their children's education across board, top to bottom. All right, so it's a dilemma of some sort. We had even heard rumors of some people saying, look, the government wants to reinstate the subsidy regime, which had been aborted, if you like, abolished. But as it stands today, we know better. Just a few days ago, the federal government had come out through the special advisor on media to the president, Ajuri Ngelale, to say the government is not going back on the suspension, or if you like, better put, the removal of payment of fuel subsidy, because President Bola Tinubu says that's the way to go. That this removal, this action itself, which many experts have argued is not a policy but it's a pronouncement, has practically come to stay, and that's what we are at the moment. Just yesterday, the National Executive, Economic Council met the NEC, and of course that's led by the Vice President. And one of the resolutions that was reached was like, look, we have to give 5 billion naira each to the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. All right, and then we have to also make provision of hundreds of bags of rice and beans for various states. I mean, all of the 36 states plus the FCT. Many persons say, as laudable, as commendable, as timely as this initiative may be, it is far away from what ought to be, and some have categorically called it a drop in the ocean. But is it not better making effort at all and trying to scale that effort than not making in any case? But it's quite a complicated, protracted conversation to have because of where Nigeria is. I mean, while we're talking about these, there's still the issue of Forex regime. There's still the scarcity of Forex. There's still the controversy around speculation in the Forex markets. Even though we understand just this week, the federal government has been able to secure a $3 billion if you like, loan, all right, to be able to cushion the effects of the paucity of foreign exchange. We understand that's coming from the African Exports Import Bank, that's Afreximbank, as part of initiative To the papers quickly for you now. We're beginning with the Daily Times newspaper on Global Morning here. Just above the nameplates, palliative 0.1 million bags of rice, 40,000 of maize per state. Underway, 180 billion naira handed states for purchase. FG is lawless. Judge is the one saying that for lack of respect for courts, no response from government's council. Experts set agenda for new finance minister amid distress. How we lost 22 soldiers, others to terrorists in Niger by military authorities. Vowed seats for tats. We actually brought you an extensive reporting on that yesterday and even this morning in our news reporting. Former Envoy Bire Solido over treatment of PWDs, people living with disabilities, that is. Okay, but let's turn to the Blueprint newspaper now. The Blueprints with two headlines just above, beneath the nameplate of it. It says November 11, Imo governorship poll, army to deploy 2,300 personnel, REC. Nasarawa Goba Tribunal, PDP star witness admits inflating figures against APC. Page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. Fuel subsidy removal, Nigerians urge transparency as FG OK's 185 billion naira lifeline to states, FCT. Then with a couple of riders here, involve CSOs, media, religious community leaders, Sislak, Gideon Joe, will be strict transparent on $800 million loan disbursement, FG assures. Says part of 500 billion naira will go to SMEs, industrial sector, purchase of plans, palliatives for refugees from Niger Republic. That's on page 6. Okay. What else do we have here? Nigeria lost $42.37 trillion to crude oil theft in 11 years. That's native there. All right. Then at the foot of it, it says we lost 36 personnel in Niger ambush helicopter crash. DHQ giving those figures. Niger coup, ECOWAS ready to deploy standby forces if defense chiefs. Foreign powers interested in looting Nigeria, Niger's resources. El Zakzaki is the one to whom that is credited on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And then above the nameplate of the Nation newspaper, you will see Toby Amuson there huddling as usual. Toby Amuson cleared for World Championships. That's a great story there. The lady says she's happy that this is finally behind her now, so she can bolt ahead and do what she knows how to do best, get results for Nigeria, put the nation and indeed the continent on the map. All right. Niger ECOWAS activities standby forces. Niger ECOWAS activists standby force. Defense chiefs in Ghana. Okay. Then here, big story. States awash with 180 billion naira subsidy paying relief cash, with riders that say federal government's 5 billion naira per state fund for immediate use to cushion high food fertilizer prices. NEC OK's transfer of World Bank's $800 million to the poor, talks with Labour to go on. And then you have pictures of suspended, some people say embattled, Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele there in court yesterday. DHQ, 3 officers, 33 soldiers died in Niger ambush, NAF jet crash. Experts, AK-47 can't shoot down jets. Okay, so that analysis is still going on. Emefiele charged with fraud, abuse of office, others in Abuja. And then there's a bit of highlight here. States got 2 billion naira of previous 5 billion. States that border Niger Republic to get federal government support. States to buy 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize. 5 trucks of rice received earlier. Review of social register ongoing. That review is very critical. It is very, very critical. Commissioner Ondo debt down to 92 billion naira. Kwara pays 150 million naira for girl child education. Those are big stories from today's Nation newspaper. But how about Daily Trust? All right, Daily Trust has its own big stories as well. The first three here, side by side, say palliatives, FG approves 180 billion naira for states. Military says 3 officers, 22 soldiers killed by terrorists in Niger. Nigeria complex but not too difficult to manage. That was the president himself talking. Niger, AU opposes military action as ECOWAS readies forces. Miles suspension, protest in Ghana, recruitment drive of volunteer fighters in Niamey. Excuse me. And then when you look at the left end of the front page of today's Daily Trust newspaper, it says Abuja housewife burst into tears as barrel pusher escapes with her foodstuff. That pathetic story is on page 16 of the Daily Trust newspaper today. For anybody who has been in this country lately, experiencing all of these economic hardship would understand the reason that lady would have had to burst into tears when the barrel allegedly made away with her goods. I mean, who knows? Maybe those were supposed to be food items, maybe food stuff for the next 1 week, maybe for this weekend. Who knows? And now somebody has made away with them, perhaps for a family of 4. So how does she get money to repurchase those items? It's interesting, but we're just hoping Nigeria gets out of this place as quickly as possible, because there's not desperation more than ever before in society on account of the fact that by nature human beings are wired to activate their survival instincts in times such as we are having right now. Okay, Abuja housewife burst into tears as barrel pusher escapes with her foodstuff. You can read that story up, by the way, on page 16 of today's Daily Trust newspaper. Jega to lead Qatar Central Election Observation Mission to Zimbabwe. Address forex challenges, other fiscal issues, experts tell Edu. Bribery allegation hits up Kano Election Petitions Tribunal, even though we understand that the Kano State government had come out to debunk that report. Staff induced with 10 million naira. NBA demands identity of indicted lawyers. Kano government APC trade words. Okay. But we have the business day as well, which is equally quite loaded this morning. Okay, let's look at a big story on the front page of the business day. 5 agro commodities can earn Nigeria scarce dollars. 5 agro commodities can earn Nigeria scarce dollars. Who knows? Maybe that's the basis on which there's the debate about diversification and how I mean, we should diversify as a country to agriculture, but nobody has answered the question of what model exactly are we going to adopt, what are the mechanisms put in place. Time and again here on Global Television, we've talked about the challenge of value chain in the agricultural sector. Those issues fundamentally must be addressed. How do we get food stuff? How do we get farm produce from outskirts, from the villages into the city? These are all important issues, all right? And now we're dealing with inflation, just to cap it all off. So until we address the fundamentals, as economists would say, and then it will appear that we're just running a circle fruitlessly. Okay, but there are several more stories here. Hip Hop at 50, MI Vector, other Nigerian rappers keep lights on. I thought I was going to see names like Mode 9 here or Terry the Rap Man, but who knows? Of course, they've made their own impact. Their footprints in the industry cannot be denied. All right. Telecom poses biggest test for Boso Tijani. Of course, he has been appointed Minister for Communications and Digital Economy. All right. But people are looking at the impact he has made in the tech sector within Nigeria and even across Africa. We understand that he has a very strong footprints in at least 3 African countries, including Nigeria. And Nigerians are hoping, with the young blood in him, so to speak, and then what he has done with his CC hub and several other areas where he has had very significant impact, he would be able to replicate same across the Federation and help to digitize systems and drive prosperity, economic prosperity, that is using tech as a platform. And that's a wrap on the paper segment here on Global Television. Global Morning continues shortly. Do stay with us, everyone.